pleasure. I met Dominic back, I think it was 2006. Yeah. So we met, and you know, I loved the energy that he had, and he was excited to get involved in real estate, and so we started talking and collaborating and partnering, and I've known him and worked with him ever since, and it's been fantastic to see the stuff that they're involved in, because he's really taken the whole real estate game and just amped it up. I mean, talk about investing in, you know, real estate investing in steroids. That's what they're doing, and it's been exciting to see kind of what they've been able to do. The projects, I mean, this is an amazing project that they found, and so he's going to talk about how they found it, how they funded it, how they came up with their plan designs and everything, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how you guys can do the same thing if that's something that you're interested in doing. So I won't take up any more time. I'm going to turn the time over to Dominic and Kip and let them tell you all about this awesome project.
Thanks, Robin. Welcome, you guys. How we doing? Good. Excited to learn about real estate. Who here wants to make $100,000 over the next 6 months? All right, I'm going to show you that. Who here wants to do 10 of those projects over the next 2 years?
Oh yeah.
What if you could shrink that down and do 10 in 1 year? Yeah. Okay, so that's $100,000 times 10. What's that equal?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're doing right now. 4 years ago, I was bartending at a restaurant, and I didn't really have a clue what was going to happen to my future, but I had my little girl's right behind here playing with her video game, and she came into my life, and I realized that having a 2-year-old and bartending till 2 in the morning was no longer an option for me. And I had met Robin 10 years ago, and we had started learning how to invest in real estate. He was able to go and really put it into action, and I had a few barriers. I was scared, for one. I didn't have money. The market crashed, and it kind of freaked me out, and I just stepped away, and I realized that I wasn't ready. But once I had a few more motivations in my life, like a child, and
Funny how that works out.
Yeah, but I knew I was an entrepreneur, and I knew that going to get that job was not really appealing to me. I figured I'd try to dive back into real estate, and I connected with Robin, I connected with my business partner Rob, I connected with people like Mark and Sizemore in the back, and I joined this group called Renatus, and we were able to form an investment group, an investment team, and I was out there just literally just knocking on doors and wholesaling deals. So who here knows about wholesaling real estate? So if you're not familiar with that, that's basically how we find our projects still to this day. But what I've done over the last few years is duplicate my model and our model that we teach at Renatus on how to wholesale and find projects off market. So this happens to be one of those properties. We came across this property. It was in foreclosure, and the woman had it as a rental property, and she had used it you saw the ramp out front that will be removed, but she had used it as a assisted living rental place. But holy crap, the walls were falling down. It was a disaster of a place. I can't believe she was allowed to let anyone live in this house.
Literally, when we got here, we could push the wall over by hand, several of them.
So it was pretty bad. And so she was in foreclosure. The house is full of junk, and when we knocked on the door, essentially, she was open to letting us take a look and taking it off her hands. My first deal that I did was me just out there knocking on doors and asking people if they'd be open to selling their houses. How I found those particular leads or potential motivated sellers was I would go out and find homeowners who were either in foreclosure, who might be in divorcing, who might be in probate, so there might be an estate sale situation, and I would literally just go out and knock on doors day after day after day. And once I started to get some traction with that, and just as this scenario here, my first deal that I was able to capture after a couple of months doing that, the woman said, "Yeah, I'm open to selling my house to you." We were able to put it under contract, and I then sold that contract to another investor who then went along and fixed and flipped it. She gave me $25,000 for doing that. I had no money into the deal, particularly. I didn't fix it up. I didn't do anything beyond just find that person who was willing to sell me your house, and I was able to then sell that contract to another investor. So my first deal was making $25,000. Who would do that? If I give you a list of contacts, if I give you a list of contacts If 100 people, would you go knock on the doors if just one of them made you a $25,000?
Yeah.
So does it take a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of heart and a little bit of, you know, you're going to walk on your feet, and you're going to knock on the door, and you're going to have some conversations. But is it much harder than that? No, it's actually really simple to do this. But it does take some work. So that was my first kind of initial foray into wholesaling real estate. And that got my traction going over the last 4 years to being where we are today. Once I realized that wasn't that hard to do, I said, okay, what if I can go duplicate this model? Because I don't really like doing that, but what if I can get like 4 other people to help me do this? So we built a sales team, and we started, and we built it out of our Renatus group. So I went and joined a real estate investment team. We found a bunch of other investors, and then over just a short period of time, we were able to not only just find properties that we could wholesale, we found properties that we could fix and flip. We partnered up with some contractors, we partnered up with some private money investors like Kip here, so individuals who had capital that we could bring into a project like this. And over the last year, we put under contract over 10 projects that are under construction. We've just recently sold about 4 of them, and I just listed $1 million house in Ballard today that we bought for $475,000, put $150,000 into it. We're gonna make a huge profit on that deal. So this property will go on the market in just a couple of months, but I'll just say over the last, going from bartending and making, you know, maybe $100 a day or whatever it was, to having projections where we're making $100,000 plus on 10 plus projects per year over just the last couple of years is pretty phenomenal. And I couldn't have done it without a team and without a group like Renatus that we're a part of now. And it's just really exciting to be able to include more and more people like yourselves who are just starting out. Because honestly, 4 years ago, we didn't have this group. We didn't have people who do property tours. Nobody really held my hand besides my individual business partners, and we were all struggling to get along. But now that we're able to have some success, we're now able to do these workshops every single Saturday. We're able to do study groups every single Tuesday, so that we can literally amplify anyone else who wants to do this business. We can show you how to take that 4 years that it took me and shrink it down to less than a year. So who here is ready to do that? Awesome. Okay, so like I said, we initially found this project because it was in foreclosure. I talked with the woman several times. She was really challenging, and people are challenging to get projects like this. But when I came and I walked this house and I saw that, I knew that I wanted this house. She decided the last minute that we were going to sign for the contracts that she was just going to list it and sell it. And so she stopped answering my calls. And my assistant had called her and called her and called her, and I was calling her and calling her and calling her, and I was like, man, what had happened with this deal? And then it popped up on the MLS as a listed property, and I was like, damn it, someone's gonna buy this. But the thing is that I had already seen the property, I had already done all the research, I knew what it was gonna take to remodel this house, and I knew the challenges. That if anyone else had walked in here and wanted to just buy it with a conventional loan and the walls were going to fall over, it wasn't going to fly. So knowing that information, I knew that I could still lowball that offer, and as a licensed real estate agent, I could get a commission on it. So I ended up buying the house, putting the offer in, talking to the other broker and telling him, hey, I know all about this house. I know that it's never going to pass an appraisal or an inspection. I'm going to submit my offer to you, and I want you to convince the seller to sell it to me. And in the end, I got it for less than she would have got if she had just bought it directly from me, because I got the commission on it, and I lowballed her offer. So that's the crappy thing for those people who go through that process with me, and I had that conversation. That happens all the time, you guys. People, you have that conversation, and then they're like, I can just list it and make more money. The house is in too crappy of shape that we end up buying it from them on the MLS anyway. And it's to their detriment because they have to pay 6% commissions on it.
Yeah,
so,
that's a really important point to think. Like when we find these people, understanding the process, understanding that all the costs that are associated with selling a home in a conventional way, most of the time you can come in and give them a cash offer that's in their mind significantly lower, but they end up making a lot more money if they took that cash offer. If you understand that process and understand those costs, you can talk to them, and that's how you start doing a good negotiation with it. Absolutely.
So she didn't quite get that. Maybe that was my fault for not explaining that to her well enough. But in the end, if she had understood that that 6% commission by listing it was going to come out, or my full cash offer would have paid off her foreclosure and gotten her some money, she should have weighed the options, and she should have chose my offer up front. She thought she could get more, and in the end she didn't. Anyway, we put this property under contract, we bought it, I had to then find money. So the purchase price of the property was $515,000. And then we had a fix-up remodel budget of, it was actually 120, went up a bit, once all the walls fell off.
Yeah, we had a few extras in there that we needed to do.
Yeah, it turned out to be a little bit more. But, so now I needed $515 and $150 to put this project together. Now typically, almost every single one of my projects, almost every single one of Robin's projects, have zero money out of my pocket to do the deal. So who here wants to make $113,000 with no money out of your pocket?
Hello.
Yeah? Say money, money. Money, money. Okay. So I still have to get money though, right, in order to get this deal. So I called my buddy Kip. I met Kip in Renatus. We have study groups together every week. He learned that I knew how to fix deals, fix properties. He had money to burn. Not to burn, money to invest.
Yeah, I would say you burnt the
We're not
money.
burning money.
This might end.
He had money to invest, and
Yeah.
so we partnered with Kip, and we've also used a hard money lender. So our hard money lender was going to supply the purchase price and the remodel, but they wanted us to come into the deal with at least 15% down payment. So in order to do that, we had to borrow roughly $160,000 from Kip and his investment team.
So 160,000 is the 15%.
So what that includes is the 10% the 15% of the purchase price and the remodel, which is roughly 99,000.
Okay.
But we also needed some cushion and
You needed to be able to cover payments and miscellaneous, the other things.
yeah. So over our 8-month period that we have this project, we have to make monthly payments to our hard money lender. So what is a hard money lender? A hard money lender is not a conventional bank. They're designed specifically for real estate investors to do projects just like this. And they lend money to investors based on a project. So when I went to our hard money lender and I presented our numbers and I said, hey, I got this house, it's $515, we're gonna remodel it for $120,000, and we'll bring in 15% down payment. And they looked, and we're gonna sell it for around $900,000 plus. They looked at those numbers and said, yes, that formula looks good. We'll lend you the money. You bring your 15% in, and we'll cover the rest. Just make a monthly payment to us, interest only at 12% interest. It's a high interest. It's 1 point per month, basically 1% per month at the loan. So it's an expensive loan, but as long as you get your deal done in that period of time, and we budget that into our total project, and we still have a profitable number, it's a nice way to get your deals done.
Although a lot of times people don't realize, getting the money, long as you're sticking to that timeline, it can actually be cheaper to get a 12% loan than it is to go out and get a conventional loan from a bank at 4 1/4. Because you don't have the closing costs, you don't have the escrows, you don't have all of the appraisals, you don't have to deal with any of that. And most of these projects, a conventional bank won't loan you money to do this project anyway. It's pretty rare.
One thing that I did when I had made 2 offers on this house, both of my offers, my second offer for her was, I'm going to pay you $515,000, but I'm going to close in 2 weeks. No appraisals, I'll take it as is, no inspections, like I had already inspected it. So my offer, compared to any other offer that she would have received from her broker, wouldn't have been able to exceed my terms and my price. So even though I kind of lowballed her just a little bit, I was like, hey, I'll close in 2 weeks, and without any potential contingencies coming up to affect your sale. So that made it really appealing to her. And that's what the hard money lender provides you when you want to make your offers, is they provide you that security that I'm able to close on this within a week or 2. They can close within 3 days if you want. And for a project like this or other projects that we happen to come upon, a lot of times your closing time frame is much shorter than the 30-day typical or traditional closing that you have to go through with a conventional lender. Now this house never would have passed an appraisal, it never would have passed an inspection. So,
They probably wouldn't have been able to get 515.
yeah, so
Yeah.
any other home buyer wanting to buy that never would have been able to do this with under 30 days or with a conventional loan. So that's why we utilize hard money lenders, because they don't care about that stuff.
I just have just out of curiosity.
Sure.
So whoever, because it went to MLS instead of giving to you on a previous offer that you put in, anybody else other than you who wanted to buy this still would have to be a cash offer because this house would not
They
have.
would've.
That would have, yes.
Okay,
That was right.
So-
Yeah, that's the point we're making with this
Yeah.
one, is basically, there is no chance that any bank would have given even this. They probably wouldn't even have given $400,000 for this
Right.
house.
Yeah.
How far off was your initial offer compared to what it was listed?
It was listed at 525, I believe, and my offer was like, yeah, a little bit lower.
Your initial offer before it got listed then?
I believe before it was like 500. It was still a little bit less.
So it wasn't that far.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, see, if she had sold for 515, I mean 500, she would have gotten all 500,000 instead of going-
Minus what she owed the bank and
paying the
foreclosures and all
commission.
that.
Right.
Exactly. So her net proceeds was still less by listing it. So, any questions on how we purchased the project or how we funded the project? No? Okay. Is, my contractor's here, but,
It's right there,
On the
back
hard,
there.
on the hard money loan, how much time did you have on the hard money loan before they hit you with more points or they?
our typical loans, 7 months is what we like to ask for. So we're still on track. If it goes over 1 month, we have a nice deal with them where we'll pay like half a point for.
But now,
30 days.
so I guess the question is, what if it goes longer, what are the consequences?
Okay, so that's a good question. So this is different for each lender, so you need to make sure that you review that information ahead of time.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be
different on
different.
each one too.
But
even
typically,
with the
if you
same one.
go over, they will give you an extension for 30 days, maybe 60 days for an extra point. So whatever the total loan amount that you borrowed, they'll charge you another point and give you an extension.
Who holds the title?
Who holds the title?
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, you as a, not
Our company, we have LLC that does this
It's
project.
vested under us.
And what collateral does the money lender have?
So the lender's in first lien position. So
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah,
Yeah, so the lender is on the deed of trust in first position.
yeah. Just like a traditional mortgage lender would be. Junior, you want to come up here? So Junior, we also met through our Renatus group. Junior's one of our students, and this gentleman who's been doing construction for many years. And we said, all right, let's test